Hello again, it's Noob, and in the vise we have a Q-Lox 6-pin Euro cylinder. Usually not bad lock, this one. Very standard, but it does have spool pins in, not badly made. But look at the bitting on this key. Not too bad, you might think, but actually, just look again. Pin 1 is very high set, okay, can be difficult. But pin 6 is actually so low cut that it's virtually zero lift. You don't need to really pick it at all. And then these pins are all, actually get the picking behind it, you should see that this is virtually a straight line down. So that means it's vulnerable to a raking attack. Even if it has spool pins in it, you can just very lightly rake past them. So let's give that a go. And we're open. Now if you get that wrong and you only pick it most of the way and get yourself into a bit of a false set, you know, it's like, well, what do you do about that? Well, of course what you do is you try to find that last pin and depress it until it gets you out of that false set. He says, in theory, hard to do around the camera. And actually it's such a low set pin, it can be a real pig to get on top of. I think we're almost there. There we go, and we're open. So we can hybrid pick it. And of course that means single pin picking. But the only weird thing is single pin picking is somewhat more tricky because you end up kind of firing some of those spool pins at 5-4. Six, 3. Oh, into false set. I bet it's that first pin again, isn't it? And even with this short hook, it can be a bit of a pain to set. Got it. Who just needs to be clicked. 6, 5, 4, 3. Somebody's holding us back. Who is it? Told you it's trickier. Ah, there you go. It's because just hit 2. It's because that pesky pin 1 so hard to set because it's so high. And we're open. Good. Phew. But as you can see, we're 3 minutes into the video and we have picked it 3 different ways: raking, hybrid picking, and single pin picking. And it's just a travesty, really, isn't it? You think to yourself, why waste all those lovely spools on really bad bitting? Oh well, I suppose you can't have it all. I'm gonna go gut this lock actually because it's got those circlips I just hate to try and remove on camera, and we'll have a bit of a look inside and see what spools we have. I think it's probably going to be what, 3 standard 3 spools. Let's have a look. Okay, so I gutted one side of the lock, and you can see that there are spool pins in chambers 1 and 4, and they do activate. But have a look at chamber, there you go, look at chamber 6 there. You can see that the pin is so long that it almost reaches the top, but not quite. So you'd still need to sort of half pick it, apart from the fact. Now actually have a look at the driver pin here. And look how round the ends of that driver pin are. Let's put this down for 1 second. Can you see? They are surprisingly rounded, which means that actually, if I get the lock back up for you, you can see that even if it sits in here, it will self-pick because it's not deep enough to go past this sort of round end of the pin. So it will sort of nestle in there, but under tension self-pick itself, which is not too great, to be perfectly honest with you. If I take these pins out for you and show you them, you can see that the spools which are in there are actually quite nice. They do work, and that pin 1 is a spool, and that explains why that one is so hard to set, because you get a very deep false set on these spools and it has to be set nearly all the way. Now the other thing to note is that these pins are not machined particularly well. Look at this, for example, it's got all sorts of blemishes on it. Clearly not by design. It's sort of a wonky pin. It's not great manufacturing there. Let's have a look at the... Oh, one thing I would say is it does have anti-drill pins either side of the core, which is quite nice. Let's see if I can get out pin 1 without tipping those other pins out. I imagine, truthfully, that all these are going to be standard pins in here. I just can't imagine there be anything more. Most of these Euros will have standard pins. There we go. I won't even bother turning the right way around, and you can see them there. And look how long key pin 6 is. Look at that, really super long. But again, not amazing manufacturing on these. Look at the sort of lines and marks on the locks. Look, that sort of gouge in there. Not the nicest pins I've ever seen, that's for sure. All right, well, that's the woeful Q lock, and I hope you enjoyed the video. I'll see you next time.